Hey y'all see that behind me? That means that everything is secure. Sissy's on guard this evening. Happy Monday. I hope y'all had a good weekend. Watching the goats graze a little bit and got the kiddos with me. Well, the goat kiddos, that is. Let me show you here. I brought them outside for a little bit to see their siblings. Y'all gotta hang on. I've got a pretty cool tip for those that are got school-age children and maybe even homeschooling, but got some good advice coming up that somebody near and dear to me shared, and it is absolutely phenomenal. But until then, we'll take a look at these little goats. So these two are quite smaller than the other two, and I've left the black one and the kind of cream colored one with mama, and as you can see, they're out there taking a little sunshine in. She's been in that barn sequestered, so it's good for them to get a little daylight and grazing and things of that nature. But those two are major healthy. They're eating good. These two are doing fine as well. I've got some colostrum replacement and goat milk, and you can see who they know. These two don't know me for food, but these two do. And they're getting a little bit hungry, so we'll have to make it fairly quick this evening and get in there and give them their supper, right? Let me see where I'll turn this way. There we go. If y'all are just tuning in, welcome to Sound Off where you're at. We'll try to do a little roll call here in a minute. Just hadn't been on in a few days and wanted to check in and say howdy. So easy there, buddy. He's just checking them out. But Sissy and Waylon are getting along just well. She thinks that's her puppy. I thought he'd come out here with me, but he's risen to his East Texas royalty. He's not getting off the porch. I guess because he ain't a big dog yet. So what they say, if you can't run with a big dog, stay on the porch. So that's what he decided to do. I've checked on him a couple of times. He's just happy by that front door waiting to go back in the house. But might be a little biased, but I've got a lot of folks that step in line with me. She got Teacher of the Year over in Lufkin ISD at a particular campus. I believe it was last year. And over 2 decades under her belt teaching elementary school. But she don't say much, and she don't talk about it much. But when she gives a little word of advice, it's worth listening to. And she wrote something the other day. I'm going to try to paraphrase it. Just a couple of quick tips to parents that are involved with their children and want to know what they can do at home to help their kids learn. And she just kind of sat down quickly and wrote a few thoughts down as it inspired her. And I'll probably share the written text on the page because I don't want it lost in translation, because I know it will be with me. In short, among all the other things that we can do for our kids in certain measurables, and maybe they struggle in math or science, but at the end of the day, boy, this hit home for me. She said we need to teach them to struggle well. Struggle well. That's pretty good advice. I don't know about y'all, and even though I've been tempted to, but over my life as an adult, even while she was here, of course, my dad. Sorry about that. Had a call coming in. We don't get to be at the office and get a bad day, and the boss is coming down on you with a new system that you got to learn and get going, and can't call mom and daddy and say, "Hey, what do we do?" Right? We have to problem solve. We have to struggle. It's difficult. We face that every day in our personal life, in our work life, and yet we as parents, as we raise our children, I'm the world's worst, but we want to jump in there and save them and help them. And I think it gets worse with each generation as we see them coming on. But if we want to really develop our next generation to be those heroes and those problem solvers and to be able to lead and make a difference in the whole world, we got to teach them to struggle well. There's a lot more thought to it that she gave, but man, that just really, really resonated with me, because you're going to have those bad days, and unfortunately, when you put in an 8-hour day at work, just got the job done, you did it well, but the boss doesn't come in there and give you trophies and accolades. You get a paycheck, right? And so oftentimes we make too big a deal about the mundane things when they need to learn to struggle well. So I've been thinking a lot on that here lately, and I think about it in relation even to and that's kind of God's design, God's law. The chickens coming out of that egg, you don't help them. They got to make it on their own. And even these little baby goats, we have to let them struggle a little bit. Of course, mama don't have but two feeding methods, and we got 4 babies, so I did have to kind of intervene a little bit there, but they're doing fine, but they're not just rolling in it, I guess. It brought to mind heard about a wealthy man went on a safari, and he had his favorite dog with him, his companion. Dog was a pretty smart dog. Well, they're out there on the Serengeti and camping out, and the dog woke up a little earlier than his master at sunrise, and he was out there and chasing butterflies, of all things. All of a sudden, he spied a leopard up in a tree not far from him. And that leopard had locked eyes on that poor little dog. He knew he was in trouble. He thought to himself, boy, I'm in some trouble now. So the leopard slinked down out of the tree and was making his way over to the dog. Well, the dog had to think on his feet, right? And, hey, stop, that's too rough. Had to think on his feet, and he saw a pile of dead bones that were dried up. So he ran over to them, and he crouched down by the bones, and he was acting like he was eating them, and he knew that leopard was sneaking up behind him. As the leopard approached, the dog called out, boy, I tell you what, that leopard meat is the best I've had. Well, the leopard stopped. He'd never seen a dog before. And he said, man, that thing might kill me. So the leopard ran off back into the woods, back up his tree. The dog said, man, I got out of that one. Well, there's a little monkey sitting over there watching all this go down, and he knew what had happened. And he was scared of that leopard too. So he thought he'd strike up a bargain. So he eased over to the leopard. He said, Mr. Leopard, don't eat me. I got something to tell you. He said, what is it? He said, that dog tricked you. He didn't eat them bones. That wasn't even a leopard. Well, now the leopard was really mad because he'd done got connived by a dog and was embarrassed. He said, you know what, monkey, for giving me that tip, I'm not going to eat you. Why don't you get on my back? Let's go over here while I get this dog. Well, the dog saw all this happening. Now he knew he was in trouble. What was he going to do now? So he went back over them bones. He was sitting there, and he knew that leopard and monkey were coming up behind him, easing in. Right when they got in earshot, he said, man, I tell you what, that monkey can't be trusted. I told him 30 minutes ago to go find me another leopard to eat, and he still ain't back. You know how that ended. The leopard took off with the monkey and had his own supper. But it's being clever, problem solving, right? That's what we got to teach them. How to take a challenge and be satisfied with just a job well done. But that's good stuff. I'm looking forward to sharing that short couple of paragraphs on the page because it was really sage advice, and I think that comes from a voice of experience. But, well, the dogs are getting a little rough with the babies. Sissy's not happy with her puppy kind of bouncing around too much, but them big old paws, now, them big old paws, he's not trying to hurt her, but accidents happen on the farm. We can't let that happen. I know, Sissy, I'm right here. Let me turn around the camera. Hey, dude, going to find somewhere else to play. Go on. So we're about to put everybody back in their spot because it's getting a little chilly in the air. But ain't those something else, y'all? They don't have names yet. He just wants to play, but you're too big to play with them babies. Sissy, go take care of your business now. We done been through this before. Go on. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Let me see who all's on here real quick. We'll make it a short one this evening. This dog got me a little nervous. He ain't gonna hurt him, but I don't want to misstep. Get on. Get on. Out. All right. Everybody calm? We good? All right. Let's see here. Go back. I'm gonna have to put on my old spectacles, I guess. There's James Baker from Appleby. Hey, buddy, he's watching us on YouTube. There's Miss Deborah from Michigan. My good buddy Joseph. Yeah, it is some good advice, brother. Lisa Doherty is on the west side of Texas. And Kenneth's up in Ohio. We've got Elevated Poet Society is the handle on YouTube. Howdy. I know who that is. There's Miss Heidi. Thank you for that. But I read another one. Of course, I don't do politics on this thing, and I don't do religion. I've got my walk and my beliefs, and that's for me. If y'all pick up along the way, then that's fine too. But you don't mess with a farmer, especially an old one. They'll outsmart you every time because they're used to challenges. And I heard tell of a busload of politicians was riding through the country on the way to the city. Had passed through a rural area. Well, they had a wreck, hit a tree, bad wreck. It happened on old farmer's property, so he eased up in the woods and seen the wreck. Horrible. And observed the situation. Wasn't but one thing to do. He got out his shovel and went to digging holes to bury them. Well, about a week later, the sheriff showed up to do an investigation on this bus full of politicians that weren't there anymore. And he knew the old farmer. He said, "Hey, Jones," he said, "what was the deal with that bus up there, them politicians? All of them dead?" He said, "Well, a couple of them said they weren't, but them politicians will lie." So there wasn't no politicians left after the farmer got done with it. Oh, man. Well, I got to get in here and feed these babies. I'd like to visit a little bit longer, but we had a lot of, I get mixed up what I'm doing on subscriber feed and all. Of course, do a lot on that. I was absolutely amazed because I've never seen the birthing process on JoJo. She's had two kiddings now. This will be her third. And after reading up on a little bit, the more kiddings that they have, and some of y'all may know this already, the more apt they are to have multiple live births. So it's uncommon, but it's not unheard of for her to have 6 or 7 as she progresses. I was thinking, I said, man, that's a good thing that ain't that way in humans. You have 3 or 4 kids, and if you're trying for a boy, your 4th kid ends up being a boy, but it's 5 of them. That'd be a mess if that's how it worked with humans, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I was able to she had them when I come home the other evening. She was right in the middle of birthing the first one, and was able to stream that live on the subscriber feed. So that was really cool. Something else we're doing after the fact, and subscribers, it's probably going to be 45 minutes or so before I can get set up in there, but we'll feed the babies here in a minute on our talk after the walk is what we call it. So we just go live as a group and just kind of chit chat back and forth, and everybody's got tips to share. Those little chickens that we hatched a few weeks back, they're getting fully feathered out. In fact, got a secure spot in there where they can live in the chicken house, but it's still a little bit cool for my liking. So we're going to probably wait another week before we put them out in the hen house, but they'll still be segregated away from the roosters and the main hens, and in a snake-proof area back there. Yeah, it's snake-proof. It's got hardware cloth, so it has to be a little garter snake, but the big boys ain't coming in there. But it's worked well in the past. So things are popping and alive here. The pecan tree still hadn't budded, so that means that there's actually, by nature's call, danger of a frost still. I don't see that happening, but you can trust the pecan tree. When it buds, you can guarantee there won't be another frost around that area. So all the rest of the trees are budding out. Believe me, I know it. In the pool business, pollen is coming down, and those pools are a magnet for it. But it's a busy time of the year with the garden and all, and elderberries are doing well. Won't be long, we'll be sinking those tomato plants and pepper plants and planting peas and corn, and then the work really begins. But all is well on the old place, getting some eggs, and about to kick a dog. No, I ain't gonna kick him, but he's gonna have to move on. Go on, Bo. He's just having too much fun with that little baby, and I got too many distractions. I'm gonna have to get off here and get them all rounded up. But y'all have a good evening, be the light, and I'll go back through the comments. And subscribers, we'll see y'all here in about 30-40 minutes, and get these goats fed and settle in for the night. All right, thank y'all so much. We'll talk.